webinar once a month, the first Thursday of the month. Can't believe it's October already. Amazing. But thank you all for joining. This is Scott Sanford here. I'm the co-founder and chief growth officer of HealthiestYou. And I have Jesse Lisson with me here today, who is one of our internal sales support team leads here at HealthiestYou. Many of you probably know him. He works with y'all on a daily basis and helping present HealthiestYou to your groups, get you the right marketing materials, and just help position you for success in this growing industry today. So we have an exciting webinar in queue. We have our top producers on the line who we're going to introduce and just told him some of his secrets, how he uses HealthiestYou to get more business, retain business, and be a leader in the industry by providing the best possible solution for his clients in this challenging employee benefits world that we all live in today. So excited to introduce him here at the end of the call and do a nice little interview. In the meantime, we do have a lot of new people that join this call every month. So what we'll do is we'll walk through a little product overview. So if it's your first time hearing about HealthiestYou or joining this call, we want to educate you and give you an overview of our product, give you a demo of our new smartphone app that is shaking up the industry, getting awesome publicity across the country, is really being a key tool to help people understand their benefits and navigate them down the most efficient path to care. We're simplifying healthcare. It's a lot of fun. It's exciting. Great testimonials coming in about that. So just a couple of housekeeping items here before we kick off. If you're calling in from Orlando and you're at the Workplace Benefits Summit by chance, we are there. We've got a booth set up. Come by, say hi. We had a 5K run this morning, early in the morning. If you've been following us on social media, Tony's been training. He went from couch to 5K here over the past 60 days, so he's getting in shape, having fun. And we had a great turnout there at the run this morning, so thank you all for that. If you're going to this SIA event here in Washington, D.C., I think is the next event we have coming up. Look for us there. We have a big booth set up, and we'll be having lots of fun meeting with our partners and getting introduced to new partners. So come see us there, Washington, D.C., middle of the month here. Look forward to seeing you all there. Well, let's get started. This webinar will be recorded, so if you have some team members that couldn't make this call, we'll follow up with an email with a link. You can share that with anybody on your team, and we're excited to share HealthiestYou with you all. So with that, I'll introduce Jesse Lisson here. He's going to walk you through a little quick PowerPoint demonstration and then a demo of our new engagement app. So excited to share all that with you. Jesse?
Thanks very much, Scott. And to echo what Scott had just said, thanks so much for your time today, everyone. We know that it is a busy time of year. Obviously, we are in the fourth quarter, so now it's happening, right? But we do appreciate it. We want to thank you for the partnership. We're experiencing tremendous growth. We hope you're all doing the same thing and using our product to gain that new business as well. So as Scott had mentioned, I want to walk you through our smartphone app. I want to walk you through the product. At the end, we're going to answer some questions. So if at any time you need something or have a question, please use the menu on the upper right-hand portion of your screen to ask that question. We will follow up with a phone call to everyone on this call today to ensure that it all makes sense, answer any questions that you have, and so on. So please do utilize that as we move on. So HealthiestYou, for those of you that have heard about us before, I always want to share more, and I think every time you listen to this, you'll pick up something new, right? For those of you that are new to us, I'd like to provide you a quick background of really where we came from and why we're doing what we're doing now. We've been in this space now for about 7-8 years, and originally found that obviously there's a need for telehealth. I mean, we're seeing the reports, right, the articles stating the growth of telehealth and how it's helping plans, helping employees, and so on. But it started out as a very low utilization benefit, more of a checkbox style benefit. And Scott and our other co-founder Jim really found that we need to find a way to get this in front of people. And in doing that, then we can have an impact on the plan, right? We can redirect claims, make it easy to access care, and so on. So everything you're about to see is all around engagement and driving telehealth utilization. Now, I will say we are not just a telehealth product, right? We're a healthcare platform. We're bringing many different pieces back to the member, and they're a range. And it could be if you need to find a low price on a prescription medication. Maybe you need to know what a procedure may cost you. You need to check your deductible balance. All of these things are brought to you through the HealthiestYou smartphone app instead of having to go out to different areas to find them. And a good way to really compare this, I like the Uber example best, but as you see, these are different companies that have really changed the way we behave, right? TiVo with how you're watching television on your own time. Google making it much easier to access information quickly. Uber's a perfect example. They don't own their cars, right? The drivers are all hired on a contract. They're not actual employees. But Uber develops this awesome consumer experience, making it easy to connect you with that driver, right? And that's why they're growing exponentially. HealthiestYou is doing the same thing for healthcare. So rather than the member, again, having to go to, say, this website to check the deductible balance, call human resources for this for help, instead of having to go out, the information comes back to them. So we're centralizing it and changing the way our members are accessing healthcare. Very, very user-friendly system. And I say that because we have clients that range from blue-collar manufacturing companies all the way to, high-tech white-collar companies. The important note is, we've gotten the question a lot, if my group, if they aren't tech-savvy, are we going to see utilization, right? Is that going to cause a problem? We have manufacturing companies that are trending to 100% utilization. And I'll tell you, they may not be that tech-savvy, but the big thing is they can access the doctor network over the phone, right? So we still market to them. It's just marketing to them in a different way. For those clients that are tech-savvy, of course, we have some great technology that'll help them out, help them save money, and it'll really help our team as far as engagement and staying top of mind with that employer group. If you haven't seen this study, the Wellness Council of America did this. Really their goal was, what can telehealth really help with? What impact can telehealth have on a plan? And what they found through their research was over 70% of all office visits, and that's regardless of type, over 70% can be handled safely and effectively over the phone. And many studies have been done. The studies range anywhere from 70 to 78%. But what we do know is that the large majority of things can be taken care of over the phone with telehealth. So that's how we market it. We want the employees to start with HealthiestYou, right? Reason being, there's no consultation fee, right? They're not sitting in a room with other sick people, not having to travel anywhere, which is awesome, especially if you have young kids, not making a claim against a medical plan, and of course it's available 24/7, 365. If for some reason the member's need is beyond the scope of what we can handle over the phone, then they can go ahead and access primary care, urgent care, and so on. But we want them to start with HealthiestYou. The top 9 reasons for an emergency room visit are nearly identical to our top 9 diagnoses. And the one thing you'll notice about this list is they are all acute illnesses. So something that more than likely will require amoxicillin, for example, or penicillin. That's really what we're designed to attack. We have the largest physician network in the country. All of our doctors are NCQA credentialed, they're board certified. They're able to diagnose, treat, and prescribe medication over the phone, right? And I'll repeat that one because that's big. They're able to diagnose, treat, and prescribe medication over the phone. Available 24/7, 365. At this time, we're in every state except Idaho and Arkansas. Idaho actually should be back online in 30 to 60 days. Arkansas, if you haven't seen it, they're actually starting to make a push through legislation for telehealth. So I don't think we're too far out from being again in all 50 states. So the member experience, if you all joined last month's webinar, I'm going to share my last experience again because I think it was very powerful and it'll help you all to understand the power of what we can do to help your employees, your members, right, improve their access to care. So Labor Day weekend, on Saturday, my daughter got bit by something in our backyard. I'm still not sure what it was. I think it may have been a spider. But we ship out that night to go camping. We get back home on Sunday of Labor Day weekend, and I can see the bite's infected, and we've got a red mark that's moving across her foot. So, before HealthiestYou, what are my options? I'm looking to go to an urgent care, best case scenario, or I'm going to be heading to an emergency room because I need to stop the infection and I don't have any other access to care. Well, this time around, of course, I call HealthiestYou. So when I make the phone call, I got in touch with a great customer care line representative. She ensured that Stella's health history had been completed, confirmed my location, asked for some basic symptom information, asked that I take a picture of the bite and upload that through my member portal, which I did, and then that was that. Now, in 7 minutes, a doctor called me back that was licensed in Arizona, and he was awesome. Looked at the picture, took about 3 minutes with me. It was very quick. He looked at the picture, asked if the bite was raised, like a bump, if there was anything coming out of the bite, like a pus. And I said, no. I said, all right, I'm sending a prescription to your pharmacy for an antibiotic. If this infection doesn't stop or start to go the other way within 9 hours, you're going to have to take her in, and they'll have to feed antibiotics in through an IV. So the prescription got to my pharmacy 15 minutes later. I drive there, I'm done. My total time spent on this was 24 minutes. And put that in perspective of what I would have done, right? If I didn't have HealthiestYou, you're talking half a day is lost. That's one of the busier days at a hospital, especially urgent cares. We all know the holidays get so busy at urgent cares and emergency room. And I would be sitting there with Stella, with other sick people, losing half of my day on a holiday weekend. And instead I spent 24 minutes to get a prescription. And luckily that same day, after about 6 hours, the infection started to come back the other way. Amazing experience. And I tell you, I've used it again and again, but every time I use it, I think, I can't imagine not having this. Just because it's so much easier. Saved me so much time, saved me so much money. I'm on a high deductible plan. I would have been out of pocket. Wonderful experience. After all that was done, those consultation notes were stored in Stella's portal. So at any time, if I need to, I can share those notes with her pediatrician as well. But I hope that story resonates with everyone, because it truly does change the way you access care. It saves you so much time and money. And we say we're changing lives, and we mean that. It's changing the way we're accessing care. It is changing my life in a very positive way. So some survey results around it. Like my experience, we have 97% customer satisfaction rating. That's compared to a national in-office visit rating of 68%. So we know that when people use it, they're more than likely going to love it. That is why we focus on a $0 consultation fee model, right? If you put a cost in front of the employee, and I'm sure you all are selling against some type of embedded offering, generally those offerings feature a $40 to $50 consultation fee. Well, what happens when I'm a new user of, just say, telehealth, right? I look at my plan and say, all right, I've got an office visit copay of whatever it is, $50, $60, or I can do something brand new to me by calling, but it's going to cost me $40, and I don't know if it's going to work. More than likely, I'm going to follow a routine, right? And I'm going to go to the doctor in person. We want to stop that. So we've removed that barrier. Now when I have the decision, it's I'm going to pay $50 to go see the doctor, or maybe I'm on a high deductible plan, so I'm going to be out like $120. Well, now I can call HealthiestYou, and it's free. It's an easier decision to make, right? They're not out of pocket. There's no risk to them. They're going to call us first. Then we get them over to the 97% satisfaction rating. They love it. They use it again and again, and they tell their coworkers about it, right? And then utilization starts to climb within that group. So that's one of our strategies. 94% of our consultations are resolved in one call. There are 6%. So 6% of the time somebody calls HealthiestYou, they're calling for something outside the scope of what we can help with. So we'll say if maybe they've broken an arm, they have a bad cut, maybe they think they have a concussion, right? Certain things are beyond what we can do. Our doctors cannot prescribe for something that's potentially harmful or addictive. But again, as you see in that stat, the large majority of things we're receiving can be taken care of right over the phone. Our average callback time is 9 minutes. 30% of the time, the members call back in under 2 minutes. So again, the ease of access to care, extremely fast. All of this results in clients that are very happy and they love it. So our group retention rate right now sits at 95%. So let's talk about now, okay, what's the differentiator for HealthiestYou? The two things, and you're going to see, we've got companies popping up all over the place, right, that are coming into the telehealth space. And I'm happy for them because it's an exciting space. It's something that the industry needs. But there are always two things they don't have that we do. And it comes down to simple things. It's member engagement and driving telehealth utilization. Everything we do is about engagement, which is why we're a healthcare platform. If we were just telehealth, it's difficult to get people involved. It's difficult to keep them engaged. Without a client success team, it's hard to keep the benefit top of mind. All these things bundle into a product that creates very high awareness and higher telehealth utilization. And I would say competitor average, that range is right. You probably see 2 to 5% across the industry. Last year, our average is 42%. And again, that's speaking to telehealth utilizations. We're talking about people calling, speaking to a doctor over the phone and getting taken care of in that manner, and then impacting the plan, impacting their access to care, and so on. How we've done that to date is with an awesome client success team. We have a team here whose sole purpose is to help every one of our clients with HealthiestYou engagement. So they share different marketing pieces, email communication, different strategies to ensure that the group is communicating HealthiestYou to the employees, raising awareness, and increasing utilization. That 42% number you just saw is solely because of this team and this strategy. So we think of this as more of an overview, but this is called our engagement pulse. And I say it's an overview because every client is unique, right? You may have a client that loves email communication. They may have every part of their marketing of benefits on a website somewhere, right? You may have another client that says, our employees really don't like email. Break room posters might be better, right? So whatever it is, we want to help to ensure HealthiestYou stays top of mind, and that's how we're getting high usage. Some different marketing pieces around it. We have a lot of fun. One thing I'm sure we can all agree on is general benefits aren't the most exciting thing, right? People don't get that interested in what their copay is, what their deductible is. They have a lot of things happening. Marketing the Healthiest You is fun because it's different. It's unique. It doesn't cost so many things. So we have a lot of fun with the marketing. It's attention grabbing. Oftentimes it's seasonal. So for those of you who saw our last one, it was a back to school launch, right? Shows a child doing something they shouldn't, but it's all about the spreading of germs and how they can call Healthiest You because kids are going to get sick. But that's what we do. We make it fun, make it exciting, make sure people see that and they react to it. In addition to all of our marketing strategies with the employer group, each primary member of Healthiest You, so that would be the employee within the group, receives this fulfillment kit. It's a member card and a one-page flyer that outlines the Healthiest You benefit. And again, you'll see this is attention grabbing, right? So it's designed to say, hey, look at me, right? The card is white, it's horizontally instead of sitting, or I'm sorry, it sits vertically instead of horizontally, right? So something different stands out in a wallet or a purse. The member flyer is unique, it's fun, it's not a blah looking piece. Again, it's all about getting the attention of that employee. So now I want to move into our smartphone app. So bear with me, I'm going to pause my screen for a moment here shortly because I want to show you all some of the great new technology that we've launched. If this is new to you, you're going to see tools that are outside of just telehealth. As I mentioned before, we want to bring, or we are bringing, unique tools to our members that will save them time, save them money, and again, it's all about engagement. We want them to be in the routine of start with Healthiest You to access care. So of course, through our app, you can dial up and speak with a doctor, right? And that's, I mean, any telehealth app can do that. Every other tool is very unique. Radar is a great new function where I can view a real-time map of my location and I can see providers in my area, and these are doctor offices, hospitals, urgent cares, pharmacies, and veterinarians. And I'll show you how this works in a moment. I can find the top-rated provider in my area, and I can actually sort that by specialty as well. I can price compare different prescriptions in my area. So if I'm needing to get, say, amoxicillin, I can actually shop and find the lowest cash price around me. I can shop procedures. So if I need to have an MRI done and I don't know what I should be spending, I can use the Healthiest You app to estimate what I should be spending on that using insurance or if I'm paying cash. I can check my deductible balance real time, which is a great piece of what we're doing. And then lastly, circles. As I'm finding my urgent care that's in network, the pediatrician I'm using, the dentist, the chiropractor, whatever it is, I can save all that to Circles. Circles is my healthcare ecosystem. So instead of the member having to go to different points, they simply go to Circles in the Healthiest You app and they can see everything around their care. All right, bear with me one moment. I'm going to pull up our app for you all, so we're going to give you a live demo of this. So if you haven't seen this, I'm really excited to share this with you. If you have, I hope you see that this is a very easy way to present this app. So again, feel free to call us if we can help out. We love to do that. That's part of our job, is we want to help you sell Healthiest You and the product. All right, so you're looking at my cell phone right now. This is the Healthiest You app. First thing you see is, of course, we want people to understand when they log in. You can call a doctor right now, right? Generally speaking, if they're coming into our app, it means they need to speak to a doctor. But of course, they're going to come in here for other things as well. The first thing you do as a member is you upload your insurance information. Now, when I'm new to this, the app will actually walk me through this process. It shows each portion of the benefit, and then it also asks me to provide my insurance information if I have it handy. And that's done through your profile, insurance. Simply type in your insurer, type in your member ID, and then you save it. Now, what we've done is we've partnered with PocketDoc. They're a great company. They've developed a platform that pulls eligibility information right from over 175 different payers and plans, and it actually ties that information back to us. Now, all of this information is HIPAA compliant, but what it allows us to do then is help the member in some very unique ways, and I'll show you those unique ways here, but some really, really fun tools there. The second thing we've done is what's called geofencing. So using geofencing, you can actually get an alert when you walk into care or a pharmacy. So when you walk into an urgent care, we've built a virtual boundary around thousands of them throughout the country. You walk into that urgent care, and within a couple of minutes, our app will send the member a push notification reminding them that they have access to Healthiest You, right? And they can make a phone call right now to talk to a doctor instead of sitting around with other sick people and waiting for care. And we've done the same thing on the pharmacy side. So you walk into a pharmacy because it's time to pick up a prescription, our app sends you a notification reminding you that you have access to a great prescription drug shopping tool that will beat the average copay over 70% of the time on prescription medications. Both tools are designed to simply build the habit of starting with HealthiestYou, right? We want to build a routine. Give us a call first, right? Shop our engine first before you go in. It's all about reminding them to keep HealthiestYou top of mind and so on. The Today page has some great features. There's always a funny or inspirational quote up top, and then some wellness content at the bottom. So some articles and a video to watch. Keep the members healthy and happy. Here's our radar example. So this is a real-time map of my location. I'm in North Scottsdale in Arizona. And what you're seeing the map populate is all of the, again, providers in my area. So we have doctor offices, pharmacies, urgent cares, and veterinarians. So let's use my example. Let's say, I get home from camping and I don't have HealthiestYou, right? Let's say I do have HealthiestYou, but let's say whatever happened with Stella, that her infection didn't get better. So now I do need to take her into an urgent care, but I have no idea which urgent care around my area is in network. I simply touch the Band-Aid on my app, and these are the urgent cares around me that are in my network. And I touch an urgent care, some details. So this is Speedy Pediatrics, so even better, there's a pediatric urgent care right by my office. And I touch details to find out a little bit more. I see a disclaimer right away. Our directory is intended for reference purposes only. Basically, this is saying you still need to call to confirm that this urgent care is in your network, because as we all know, that information can change overnight. If a doctor changes their mind or an office changes their mind, the member needs to call to confirm. So it's basically stating they need to do that. But here's a phone number, here's an address, and actually I can now save this pediatric location to my favorites as well. So I'll show you that works in a moment. But you get the idea. Instead of me having to go to different sites, having to look through this big benefit book, I can come to the HealthiestYou app and I can find an urgent care in network in about 2 minutes, right? Much easier than what I've done in the past. All right, next up, of course, you can consult a doctor. So you touch that button and you get reminded if this is an emergency, you need to dial 911. If not, you confirm a callback number. And what's really cool about this feature is, let's say, my wife calls me, says she's not feeling well. Did you call HealthiestYou? No. I'm like, all right, I'm going to have them give you a call. I can jump in here, change that number to my wife's number, touch request consult, and her phone dials. So it's a really unique way to help them out. But as we all know, calling a doctor, that's a big piece of what we do. Top providers. This is a list of providers that are in my area, and they're the top-rated physicians in my area. Now I can sort this by in-network, and I can also sort this by specialty. So again, if I need to see a pediatrician for one of my kids, and I want the range to be around 10 miles away, I change a few things, update search, and now I'm going to see a list of pediatricians in my area, and not only just pediatricians, the top-rated pediatricians in my area. So I won't see every pediatrician, but I will see the top-rated pediatricians based on real patient reviews. So it's another great way to have access to care. Prescription pricing. We've gotten many testimonials about prescription pricing. And I'll share a story of mine. I actually had, my son had pink eye, and I didn't put the drops in both eyes. So we got through one bottle, and the pink eye spread to the other eye. Gets in the other eye, get a refill. The next day, daycare loses the refill. So now I have nothing again. I head back to the pharmacy to get another refill. And the pharmacist tells me, well, you're no longer able to get this through insurance because this is the third one, so you're going to have to pay $90 for these drops. I pulled up my HealthiestYou app, and I was at a Walgreens. And I found a low price at a Walgreens. I touched the button, showed them this QR code, and they scanned it, and I paid $20 for that same prescription. So just to give you an idea of the savings potential that's there. Now, to be fair, I think the savings potential is probably higher on the maintenance medications. This is a one-off situation, but you get the idea. I saved a ton of money. I saved $70 on the spot. So if I'm on an employer-paid plan that's $9 a month, right, we've just paid for about 7 months of HealthiestYou. So great way to save the members some additional money. All right, additional features, shopping procedures. So let's say in this example, I need to have an MRI done. I'm thinking about paying cash for it, right? So what should I be spending on an MRI in that example? So in Scottsdale, the cash price for an MRI, right now an average price is $852.39. Now we're in the high rent district, so it's generally higher here. So let's use a different example, and let's say I'd like to use my insurance plan this time instead. I just switch over to insurance, I find it again. Now we have some additional options because it's going to sort by CPT code. So now we see a lot of different options. So let's say I need a brain MRI. My wife probably tells me this a lot. So I jump to a brain MRI, right? Average cost using insurance plan that's similar to mine in my area, $548.51. So I can save myself some good money using insurance. And you can see there the lowest amount paid in this area is $238. So that tells me now I'm armed with some information. Now I know what I should be spending and what I could be spending if I shop around a little bit. This is version 1.0. We'll be amping this up, but for right now, just think of this as it's not right to the penny, but a great estimate of what I should be spending on a procedure. All right, next up, insurance checker. HR people love this part of what we're doing because they get phone calls on this all day long from the employees. What's my deductible, right? What are my co-pays? When is my insurance effective? All of these things now can be helped through the HealthiestYou app. So you're looking at my insurance plan. You see the effective date, my member ID. So everything I need if I go to the doctor's right there. I don't need to have a card on my person. Deductible balance is real time. I have not had to make a claim yet this year, thanks to HealthiestYou. If I did, the deductible balance shows right to the penny right here. And this updates real time. So once my payer submits the claim, they will sync with my app and it updates real time. If Scott was showing you his smartphone right now, his family deductible has been met 100%. So different situation, but you get the idea. So now if I'm an employee and I'd like to know what my deductible balance is, I can just jump into the HealthiestYou app. So much easier than having to log into another site or make a phone call and so on. Coverage details here. So when was it active? What plan do I have and so on? And then the copay option. So I'm on a high deductible plan, not much to see here, but if you do have a copay plan, the benefits are all listed out through the HealthiestYou app. So this would be your summary of benefits. So what's my copay for an office visit, an urgent care, right? Emergency room, chiropractor, anything I have is right here. So again, the HR teams really, really like this part of the app. It's an attention getter because it's going to save them a lot of time and it's going to help out the employees as well. And then the last piece is circles. So as I'm finding that in-network urgent care, the pharmacy that I commonly visit, all these things can be saved to circles. This is my healthcare ecosystem, my personal healthcare ecosystem. So if I'm on any prescriptions, let's say it's time for me I need to refill Atavastate, right? That's the generic version of Lipitor. Instead of having to go through, type it all in, I come to Circles, I touch it, the app is shopping for me real time, shows me the lowest cash prices in my area. I'm a Costco member, that's the lowest price. I touch Costco, and now I've got a coupon, and that's the cash price that I would pay for that prescription. So very, very simple to use. My pharmacy there is available. So this is a Walgreens down the street from my house. All of my providers. So PCP, I've used commonly, my dentist, eye doctor. You get the idea. Everything is saved now in the HealthiestYou app. All right, let's jump back over to the deck here. Bear with me one moment. And we're going to slide down to the piece of the presentation that gets into the fun stuff. I want to show you a couple of case studies and some utilization.
So while you're switching there, Jesse, I'm going to answer a couple of questions that have come through on the questions box on the GoToMeeting panel. So if you do have questions throughout this, feel free to type those in, and we'll do our best to address those by responding in the type box, or we'll address them here for everybody. So a couple of questions have come up when syncing your health insurance plan. Is it just for one particular payer? Well, we have 170 different insurance payers loaded into the app. So from Blue Cross Blue Shield to United to Cigna to Aetna, all the major plans are in there, and it covers about 90% of the market, if you will. So it's not just one payer that's loaded in there. So we can cover a lot of the market. Let's see here. We've got a couple of other questions. Is there a cost to download the app? No, the app is part of the membership fee. So if you have HealthiestYou through your employer, or if you're a broker here and you bought the HealthiestYou membership, the app is free, and there's no cost for anything inside of the app to use it. You can call the doctor as much as you want. There's no cost for that, the way we structure the plans, which we'll get into here in a minute. There's no cost to do the pharmacy search. Now, you will have to pay for your medication when you get there, of course. We're not picking up that cost, but everything inside the app is free to use and navigate. So I'll pass it back to you, Jesse.
All right, thank you, Scott. So I'm sure you're all wondering about utilization, and obviously that is a huge differentiator for us. This is an example of the utilization report that we can share with you and your clients. It simply shows year-to-date utilization, what the group is trending to, and you can see it broken down by month. So number of consults each month, and the number of those consults resulting in a prescription. Which member of the family is primarily using it? Is it the primary member, the dependents, and so on? And then the top 5 at the bottom, that's the top 5 for all of HealthiestYou. but you get an idea of what people are generally calling in for in regards to, is it bronchitis, sinusitis, and so on, as you see that on the bottom of the screen. All right, a couple of case studies. So I'm sure a lot of you have clients that are moving to high deductible plans. That seems to be a huge trend right now in the healthcare space. This is a group that's self-funded that moved to a high deductible plan. Now, the really unique thing about this is when you do that as an employer group, the employees generally aren't that happy, right? Because when you do that, they're now out of pocket for a lot of their costs for quite some time. So what this group did was they plugged HealthiestYou in when they did that and made that transition, and the employees loved it. So of course we had an additional impact on keeping employees from hitting that deductible, so we're keeping the claims out of the plan. We also have an impact on the reduced absenteeism side. So half of our consultations result in an employee not having to leave work. So you think about, of course, the savings on the claim redirection, the savings on plan design, but also the savings on reduced absenteeism and the amount of PTO time that would be paid out by that employer. Another case study, and this is more of a traditional plan option. So this group, and if you all were on the last one, you heard about this, but they have 2,210 lives on plan, slightly more now. They were really having a hard time with urgent care spend. This is a regional plumbing company, the western half of the U.S., and unfortunately, the drivers are on the road, they get sick, and it's just habit. They go to the closest urgent care for treatment. So what their consultant did was change the plan and also put HealthiestYou at the front of the plan. That's a huge key, because when you change the plan, you're now using the plan as a vehicle to drive the employees to HealthiestYou first. So do you see what he did with the plan design? We changed the urgent care copay from $50 to $75 and then add in HealthiestYou. Now when the employee has the option of going to an urgent care, they're thinking about it a little bit more, right? $75 is a pretty good chunk of change, and now they have a free option. So they're thinking, well, I think I'll try this free option instead of spending $75. So in their first year of putting in HealthiestYou, their urgent care spend alone dropped 37%. A really nice amount of savings to the plan. In addition to the claim redirection, the plan saved 9% just because of the plan change, so the plan design change. So a combination of the two is key, and it can really help the employer group out. This group has had such great success with HealthiestYou. We've actually now been told that they're going to purchase HealthiestYou for every employee on plan, which is over 5,000 lives. So again, tremendous success story. We get this all the time with self-funded clients, especially in the side, is they love it. They're saving a lot of money. The employees love it. It's a great combination of benefits. Now let's touch on those fully insured folks. So if you have clients that are still using a copay plan option, the plan design is pivotal. Like we saw in that earlier slide, plan design is what's required with a fully insured plan to create some savings, right? And as we all know, it's pretty common right now that when your clients receive that renewal rate, it's generally going to be higher, which means you have to find a way to get creative and change the plan. So what our top producers have done as far as selling us to fully insured plans is they change the plan design, right? So if, for example, my group's looking at a 20% rate increase, they take the plan, they raise the copay, raise the deductible, right? Now we've lowered the premium, we've created savings for the group, take the savings, they purchase HealthiestYou. So although I'm trimming the plan back and I'm passing some of the costs over to the employees, the employer group's saving money, the employees are now happy because doctors are waiting on them instead of them waiting on doctors, right? It's a pretty rare win-win-win in the space. So now you've got a happy group, and you can also use the savings to sell them some other benefits, right? And obviously not throwaway, but benefits that they'll need. But this is what the top producers are doing. Same example, if you move them to a high deductible plan, right? We've got some savings to utilize. Use those savings to plug in HealthiestYou, that's a great combination, and then potentially sell them some other benefits as well. And it's a great match for literally any plan. You could have a rich plan with your municipality, and I know they use that to get people in the door, right? They retain employees with that plan. Who wouldn't want unlimited access to doctors over the phone, 24/7, 365? Great thing for HealthiestYou. We've had some tremendous success. Obviously, the fully insured, funded, self-funded, level-funded ACA plans, we're starting to really grow in the MEC space. Of course, payers is a great fit, TPAs, but you get the idea. Literally anywhere, HealthiestYou will be a good fit for your clients. So how you get started? Real big key is we want you to register for our partner portal. So you'll receive an email from us, and there'll be a link there to register for the portal. The portal is your hub to sell HealthiestYou. You can create proposals, ROI reports, our marketing pieces are embedded, our enrollment forms are there, and always the current part of our offering is there in that portal. The other thing we want you to do is we want you to buy a membership for yourself. We give a 30% discount to our partners that want HealthiestYou. It's a great way to sell the benefit, right? If you have a story like mine over Labor Day weekend, that's a great way to sell HealthiestYou. And then use us to close your first deal. I can't stress this enough. We do not sell HealthiestYou directly. You are our distribution, our partners. We're here to play a supporting role. So when you have clients interested, we want to help you with demos. Until you're comfortable, bring us in on a webinar. We'll present HealthiestYou together. We'll get those questions answered. We close over 90% of deals when presenting with our partners. The closing rate, I think it goes up 4 times from what we saw in our last study. So please, please utilize your broker support team. Our only job here is to help you out and sell HealthiestYou with you. Last thing, rates. So big piece I'm sure you're wondering is there commission involved with this product? There absolutely is. So the rates you see on the screen include 15% commission to the producer. Now the nice thing about these rates is on the employer paid side, these rates are what we call a flat rate. So if you have an employer group between 2 to 99 lives, the $9 PEPM will cover the employee plus spouse and dependents. That is unlimited use and that's free consultations. Right? Again, part of our strategy, we don't want a barrier in front of the employee. There is no cost to them. The large book of our business right now is employer paid, but I will say I think the voluntary block is going to explode. On the voluntary side, if you're one person, you're paying for 100% of HealthiestYou, it's $11 for an individual, $15 for a family. And I'm starting to hear this a lot from brokers. You know, the companies are pinching pennies, right? They love HealthiestYou. Maybe they don't have it in the budget this year. That's a great time to bring us in on a voluntary basis, especially if you've got those folks on, say, a high deductible plan, which is pretty common now. You tell that, you know, the individual, if I'm on a high deductible plan and I buy HealthiestYou, I use it once to twice and I've paid for the entire year, right? So if I'm a family using it twice, I've paid for it. If I'm an individual using it once, I've paid for it. There's a tremendous opportunity for you to gather gain some new business on the voluntary side as well. All right, next up, thank you all so much for waiting. We're going to bring Drew Calistad on the line with us. So Drew is, oh, sorry. I'm going to pass it over to Scott, because Scott was going to ask you interview questions. So, Drew, are you still on the line with us there, buddy?
Yep.
All right, perfect.
Well, hey, Drew, thanks for joining us. We invited Drew on the line here because Drew and his partner, Reed Smith, with CoBiz, have done a phenomenal job of being a very strong partner by leveraging HealthiestYou, again, to grow their business, differentiate themselves, and retain business. We had the pleasure of being a guest speaker at one of their events they had with a large audience of employer groups, some prospects, some of their existing clients, and just a top-notch group of guys and gals that have embraced HealthiestYou to their benefit. At that event we hosted, as an example, we presented HealthiestYou, and it was received very well by the audience, both with the folks that had already had it, sharing the stories of how it's helped them, but then also helping support Drew and their team to get some new clients and get more business. So we invited Drew on just to share some tips and advice and some things that have helped with HealthiestYou for his business. So we got a few questions here, and I think to start off, Drew, let's kind of back up a little bit. When you were first introduced to HealthiestYou, had you been selling a telehealth product before, or was telehealth new to your offering to your clients? And the reason why I ask that is we have typically 2 types of brokers or consultants that we work with, some that are selling telehealth right now, and maybe they've been disappointed with the results, both on utilization or support from those groups, so they have switched to HealthiestYou, or some brokers or consultants where telehealth is a concept to them and they understand the power of it, and they've chose HealthiestYou as a partner. So with you, were you selling a telehealth product prior to HealthiestYou?
So personally, I had not placed any telehealth. I had been working probably 18 months, working the market, understanding it, seeing different versions. Some of my colleagues had investigated other versions that had higher employee cost or employer cost as you buy it. And then secondly, much higher copays, much zero is one end. The other end of the spectrum is $30 or $40. And we just weren't getting traction with the, what I'm going to call 1.0 version in the marketplace. And so to answer your question, we sold probably one or two, it wasn't going anywhere. And we wouldn't have known what we needed to know when we learned about HealthiestYou had we not gone through our experience. Once we did and we saw it at the zero, the low cost, we immediately recognized the value, and our clients did as well, and it took off.
Great. So you did months of due diligence, and I know you've got a good network of peers up there in your area too that you're bouncing ideas off on. So you had kind of done some due diligence, checked to see what was working, tested some products, and then ultimately that helps with your decision with HealthiestYou, correct?
Correct. And just it's worth noting for the audience that we are pretty progressive in our strategy here in Denver. A lot of high deductible health plan solutions, a lot of engagement, a lot of self-funding, so that the employer is truly a stakeholder when they put this in place, because the claim dollars that are mitigated are immediately removed from their health plan.
Yeah, I would say you guys have done a great job of embracing HealthiestYou, which helps our client success team. Now we take the load of really creating awareness within the groups off of you all, because we want you out selling more and meeting with your clients on other things. But you've really embraced it, and you've, as Jesse walked through the benefit plan design and the importance of that, you all really speak to that to your groups, which is helpful. Go to HealthiestYou first. It's free. It's there on the front end of the plan. If you can't resolve your health issue, then go to your health plan that we've created for you with this plan design. So that's been helpful, the way you all have been passionate about it, because that helps drive the great results we're seeing within your groups. So how are your clients reacting to HealthiestYou when both presenting it to them up front and then also after they've had it for a while? How has the feedback been on that?
Well, so initially, again, we have a very consultative approach. We have high deductible, self-funded plans. So when we present it, it's pretty much a no-brainer with your $7 to $10 head count cost per month. $100 for an employee. The least they're going to spend to see a provider in a high deductible health plan system other than preventive is going to be $100. They might spend $200. They might spend $1,500. And a lot of that heat's also going to get to the health plans. And so how have they reacted? Very favorably once they see the light. And it's really a convergence, too, of the demographic shift in our workforce. With as many millennials as we have, with as fast as our business is evolving toward technology, it's a perfect storm of pulling these tools together and really redirecting claims from your health plan into an immediate, efficient tool where they can get care without having to waste half a day.
Absolutely. That is certainly essential. Has HealthiestYou helped you grow your business at all, or have you seen opportunities to get in front of new clients that you haven't been getting in front of? And then also on the retention side, have you seen any help with retaining groups with HealthiestYou?
Absolutely. We've woven it in, first of all, the retaining. We've woven it into probably 80% of our large case, and that's really in self-funded, 7,500, 200, 500, 800 employer groups. We've put it in there. So retention has helped because it's, they love the new strategy, the gizmo we get to plug on. It's very tangible. New business, it's absolutely opening doors. We have been out ahead generally of the pack with this, and the zero copay and the 40% or so use rates, and made a very tangible ROI projection, and it's coming to fruition. Most of our clients are realizing 40 to 50% utilization. So it is helping both new business and retention, absolutely.
When I tell you, when you see those utilization rates, and again, your support with the benefit plan design and creating the awareness up front helps us drive that number. It's not a necessity with some groups, but it certainly helps. And when you see that kind of utilization, the groups just don't get rid of the product. And they may even go to you to suggest some ways to tweak the plan, the health insurance side of it, because when you're driving so many claims to telehealth, it gives you more flexibility on the plan side. Now you guys have kind of mastered that, and maybe plugging in some other commissionable products as well, because you got more premium to work with if you're shifting the plan around. So again, you guys have done a great job with that. We appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to share to the audience here about HealthiestYou? I know we're getting close to using our time up, but any other words of wisdom or advice or anything you could share?
I guess one thing would be, to dig in, look at it yourself. I would buy it yourself, get into it, understand it. One of the first questions that our clients have is, are you using it? And we acquired it for our insurance business within the greater company that we are within at CoBiz here first, so we could be early adopters and say that yes, we use it, but we're also our own employer. CoBiz, we're adding it January 1 for all employees. So we're not just telling them to do something, we're actually doing it ourselves. I think that's critical in any consultative relationship, because they're going to say, are you using it? And then just really focus on the demographics, the shifting millennial population. They love this thing. If your buyer is a boomer, important to educate them on millennial demographic shift within our population and say it's not just for you, it's for the people that are coming in. So working those pieces. We're using it ourselves, making sure you know who your audience is. If they're young, they jump right on. If they're not quite so young, you need to help them understand the perspective. And it seems to make perfect sense in a self-funded, especially high deductible situation. All stakeholders win.
Very, very good point. Two very good points there. If you look at all of our top producers across the country, they absolutely have the membership. They've used it. They're passionate about it. They've experienced how it changes the delivery of care. So very, very good points there. And Drew, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here, but I like to end an interview with kind of a fun question, and I'll tell you the question so you have a chance to think about it a little bit. If you could pick one movie that described Drew Kallestad the best, one movie title, what would that be?
Jeremiah Johnson.
I'm not familiar with that one, but I can imagine, because I know the fun that you and the team like to have up there, and that was pretty good. That was a quick response.
I'm jumping on Google right now. I just want to add one thing, Drew. We really appreciate you joining us today. Obviously, you guys are great, and I think, of course, as friends and also as partners, and we do appreciate your partnership. And the other thing I'd like to share with everyone is what their team has done is, when you really, they focus on HealthiestYou, but it's not just their producers. All of the account managers, the account executives, they're also on board with it. And when you have that support with every aspect of your team, every part of the team that's working with the group, that is only going to help utilization. And their block of business is exactly proven that. I mean, every one of them have had successful usage. So, Drew, we appreciate everything. Thank you again so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Drew. I did Google Jeremiah Johnson, and I think that is definitely you and how you run your business as well. That's pretty awesome. And thank you, everybody, for joining. For those of you that are veterans here with HealthiestYou and joining the call, we greatly appreciate all of your hard work and bringing HealthiestYou to your clients and letting us service them and make sure they have a great experience with HealthiestYou. And for those of you that are new and just joining us for the first time, thank you. We always appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to learn about HealthiestYou. We look forward to working with you. And we'll do this call next month again. First Thursday of the month. Look for the invitation, and we'll also send a recording of the call. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend.